Scott.
Truman.
Welcome back. How are you doing?
Good, bud. How are you?
Oh, good. I'd like to also welcome everybody back to another episode of Steehn versus Machine. Week 12. We did our little bonus episode there on Thanksgiving, and now we're just back with the regular covered stuff. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about.
Big week in the old NFL there, sir.
Oh yeah, you get the Thursday games, and now we get the Monday games and the Tuesday game. It's all sorts of stuff. It's a lot of fun, a lot of things moving around, but
Eventually, they'll hopefully play that Baltimore-Pittsburgh game.
one day we'll tell her. Oh, my kid asked, "Well, are we playing this Baltimore Steelers Pittsburgh game?" I was like, "Here's the thing," and so when it finally happens, I'll explain.
So hopefully, Lamar Jackson will be able to go eventually.
Exactly. Oh, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. How was yours?
About the same.
Yeah, it's a trick question. We had our Thanksgiving together. It was good. We got to watch a little football. I think you and I pretty much split on the day.
Yeah. Yep.
I hit the early game. You hit the late game.
Yep. We'll talk about it. Let's like we were talking about, we've got a lot to cover. Let's talk about the last week plus Thanksgiving here. All right. Getting into it. I actually started everything at the back for me, which was great. We'll start with last Sunday. I had the Browns -3 versus Philadelphia. That was a win. I had the Chargers -9.5. Oh, they just could not get there. Could not get to that 9.5. So they ended up winning, but not covering. That's a loss. Dolphins ended up losing outright to Drew Lock and the Denver Broncos at Denver. What was a loss. Steelers did beat Jacksonville, did cover. That's a win for me. And the Vikings -7, losing versus Dallas at home.
Shameful.
That was the second win of the NFC East on the road this season, and the first one outside the division. Or is the third win? Third
Yeah.
road win, first one outside the division.
Correct.
Ugh, just disgusting. And like in that Philadelphia-Cleveland game, it did go under. I believe it was 22-17. That was a win for you. You had the under 47.5. Cincinnati-Washington did not go over 46.5. It was 20-9. Joe Burrow, of course, exiting. Yeah. That was very
kind of
painful.
screwed me when my quarterback got hurt in the first quarter there. That's going to take a lot of the wind out of your sails for the over.
Yeah, and that sucks on a lot of levels. Joe Burrow starting to find that stride. Was a lot of the Cincinnati offense, and just him not being there, not helping him out. Ryan Finley came in there and was not good. Dolphins, you also had the Dolphins -3.5. We watched that game. They just piddled around. It was a lot like that Chargers game. That Chargers game, they just couldn't. They get up 2 scores, and they just couldn't get up 3. It was, you're like, and just the way that my betting season has been going, I've lost a lot of heartbreakers this season. Not that I'm here to be making excuses or anything, but it did just, I was like, man, I need them to get up 3 scores for me to even feel remotely safe. And of course, they couldn't get up 3 scores. They ended up going down to 1 score. That was how the Chargers went. And the Dolphins were kind of very similar, just kind of back and forth. But you're like, we're on the right side of it, and they just could not get it done.
No.
The Vikings -7, another one where it just felt like the Vikings were the better team. They just couldn't quite put away Dallas, couldn't get up 2 scores, and they end up blowing it. They end up blowing that one. And then you had the Chiefs -8, and that was a back and forth game that the Chiefs were lucky they got the ball last.
Yep. The defenses couldn't get a stop in that one.
Yeah, at some point, NFL teams are going to figure out not to give Patrick Mahomes the ball back ever. I mean, you're going to try as hard as you can to put the play in, put the touchdown in with 10 seconds. And if he has 10 seconds and 3 timeouts, that still might be too much time for Patrick Mahomes.
It's a pretty good quote from Andy Reid. So they got a minute and a half on the clock, Patrick Mahomes, and 3 timeouts. Said, I'm good.
Exactly. But you weren't good enough. I believe the Chiefs won by 4, correct? 35-31, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, just could not get it done. So, and overall, that's a bad week for you, but you're still positive on the year. A mediocre week for me, just pretty close to, lost 3 of them, and they were all right there. I could feel them, but just could not get it done. Let's talk about, before we go on to the overall records, let's talk about the Thanksgiving picks. as we mentioned earlier, we went different on each one of these, and so we ended up splitting them both. So I took the Lions money line plus 150. Anybody taking any money lines last on Thursday probably felt pretty silly unless you were on the right side of it. Um, the Lions obviously getting blown out by Houston, and you had the Texans -3. Good for you. I took the Washington football team +3, which should have been the one I took the money line on apparently, as they got the job done against Dallas by a wide margin, and you took the Cowboys -3, and obviously they didn't win. So
Yeah,
you
so
were
that the Dallas Minnesota game ends up costing me 2 games because not only do I lose the Minnesota game, then Dallas sucks me in and think, oh, they really turned the corner. They're starting to play better, and so I back them against Washington, and of course they go back to the way they looked a month ago.
right, exactly.
Um, although it wasn't. I was going to say we were calling for Ben DiNucci to come back, but it wasn't really Dalton's fault. It was more the fault of the defense that just couldn't get a stop there in the second half. And that game, you look at the final score, and you think, well, that's not a
Could have been
close game, that was a
close.
blowout. But actually, that was a very close game. Cowboys were down 10, had an interception at midfield, and it was almost like deja vu, where a receiver was able to go untouched, chase down the interceptor inside the 10-yard line, keep him from scoring the touchdown. They ultimately do not score the touchdown, and from there on out, it was all downhill for Dallas. Nothing went right from the time that he got tackled there at about the 7-yard line.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, you were minus. Luckily, the one you lost wasn't your higher stakes one. You were at -105 instead of -118. So you were -0.05 on the day, as I was minus. No, I was even. I was even on my Thanksgiving picks, as the one that I lost was my money line. So I only laid 100, and I won 100. So not a terrible day, but at least neither of us went 0-2, right? It made Thanksgiving
Right.
a little more enjoyable, I think, for both of us. Thanksgiving, no awkward silences at Thanksgiving dinner over over these games.
No.
All right. So looking at our previous week's record, I'm counting in the last Sunday and the NFL and Thanksgiving. I was -130 overall, going 3-4. You were -345 at 2-5. My math feel right?
Um,
There's a lot of games to calculate there.
yeah, I don't love counting those Thanksgiving games because neither one of those games I would have picked
Right.
as far as making it one of my top 5 picks. But it's an even playing field, and we broke even, so
Right on the right.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
really.
really matter.
Yeah, really. No harm, no foul there. I guess. That brings us so at -130. I dig a little hole for myself, but again, we're still within a perfect 5-0 week of being even. The
Sure.
gamblers mantra, right? I'm only 5 picks away. And then and so I'm at -445 for the week. I mean, for the season. God, not for the week. Luckily, for the season, I'm at -445, 25, 30, and 2. You are still positive. You're still positive 1.5 units. You're at +151 at 30, 26, and 1. So, not too bad. It's a lot of picks. It's a lot of picks every week. And, we've definitely had some picks that we don't love out there. And so, plus 151 is not bad. That's still a great season record. I think anybody can make profit.
Well, that's the thing. If you got to define what your goals are. Are you going to make a living at this, or are you doing it just to have a hobby and have some fun
Right.
and try to come out on the positive side every weekend? So
Right.
yeah, you're not going to make a living, although being up 1.5 units after 11 weeks, but or you just bet gigantic units.
Right, yeah, that's the difference. Is obviously you have a premium service that you give your best picks on, and you have a free service that you give your the next picks per se. You don't have any bad picks. You've only got best and better picks, but
Right.
you're not even putting out good picks. You're just putting out better and best. Good,
That's
better,
right.
best. Yeah, it's just better and best. You put the good picks aside. You said, you know what? I'm not going to give those to the people. So obviously you have a ranking system. Maybe you would be betting higher units on some of these games. So these all being even units, and I have a ranking system of, this is my top pick of the week through 5, and I don't, and there's, adjustments on how many units I want to bet on those. So this isn't a true, obviously maybe you loved one of that Dallas game, but you didn't love the Houston game, or you loved the Houston game, you didn't love the Dallas game. So if you would have bet Houston big, you would have been positive for the week, even though you technically went 1-1.
Right.
That's where a lot of kind of the betting margins come in. But you're still positive with it being all even units. So that's nothing to shake your head at.
No, I'll take it. And again, we're a good week away from being much more profitable. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. And plenty of time left in the season where and I'm confident the model's coming into rounding into form here. We're expecting to keep on picking up, so we'll be all right.
I guarantee you there are a ton of $100 players that would like to be up $150 after 11 weeks in the NFL.
100%. All
So
right, so let's get into the picks for this upcoming week, huh?
let's.
Let's do it. Man, I hate to keep doing this to you, but I feel like we do a lot of losers walks because and again, I just decide not to host shows whenever you do better than me in a week.
Kind of
So
the way it works.
we're back here with you again. You want to do your losers walk? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, let's take a look at now the very first game in the rotation, and that is the Raiders headed to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. I'm taking a look here at the total in this game of 53. The Raiders are an over machine. They have everything that you want out of an over team. They have a terrible defense, and they have a quick strike offense that has the ability to throw the ball. They have the ability to run the ball, and they will take what the defense gives them. In the case of Atlanta, Atlanta defense has gotten a little better here over the last few weeks. They're still not great. They tend to do better, as many teams do, against teams that are not as good as uh, as others. So they've certainly held some average teams down pretty well. But I think this Raiders team is going to present some unique challenges for the Falcons. The Falcons are certainly going to present some challenges for that Raiders defense. Matt Ryan, for all the problems that the Falcons have, they don't run the ball. They don't really play good defense, but they are able to throw the ball. Have two of the finest receivers tandem there with Ridley and with Julio Jones. I like the over in this one, Truman. The Raiders have have given up 24 or more in all of their games. The over is 7-2-1 in the Raiders, 5-5 for Atlanta, but I have faith in them this one. Give me the Raiders and Atlanta over 53.
Right, two pretty abysmal offenses, each giving up around 27.5 points per game. That's a good recipe for an over game. Moving on to my first pick of the week, I have the Saints -6. They're playing in Denver this week. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep on coming back to the well, betting against Denver. I guess that's the plan. The Saints are, they're playing good football right now. They're obviously have kind of hit their stride here as of late. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was doubting them there at the end of the season. They were sitting at 1-2. They had just lost to the Raiders and the Packers, and they've rattled off. I want to say, 6 straight wins. It's just I'm loving what they're putting out right. Or no, even more wins. It's great. It's been great. It's I can't count 7 straight wins. It's been a good run for the Saints here, and I like to think that they're going to keep this rolling against a Denver offense that's just been struggling a lot lately. And it'll be interesting. Obviously the X factor is if Taysom Hill can keep playing as well as he has, or as well as he did in that first game. He obviously had some hiccups there, and if he can fill that time till Drew Brees comes back, if he ever comes back, that would be. But I'm looking at the Saints -6 this weekend. I like it.
All right, I don't hate it. I don't know that I have as much faith in Taysom Hill as you do. We'll see what happens. He certainly surrounded himself. They have a lot of talent on that team. They are a very, very good football team. Denver, they've done exactly what I don't want them to do each and every week. I stay clear of that team, but I do wish you lots of luck.
Fair enough. I appreciate the wish.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at the next one. The New York Giants travel to Cincinnati to take on the Burrow-less Bengals. I've got the Giants -6 in this one, and I like it. The Giants actually, they have their moments. They're not a great football team, but they're a decent defensive team, giving up just 23.6 points per game. Even with Burrow, Cincinnati scores just over 21 points per game on the average, and without Burrow, that is almost certain to go down. I like I like the way that the Giants match up in this one. I'll take the Giants laying the 6 on the road.
Yeah, it's very interesting about the Giants is that while they're 3-7, they're actually the inverse where they're 7-3 against the spread. There's a lot. It's very interesting, and I don't hate them. Hate the pick. It's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what Ryan Finley can do as the starter, but I don't think he's I don't think he's gonna be good. I don't think he's gonna be a suitable replacement for Joe Burrow. So yeah, I love the pick.
Well, this is a Cincinnati team that is really has problems on the defensive side of the ball. They've given up 139 points over their last 5 games, which no, am I wrong? There's 88 and 56, 144. So they've given up almost 30 a game over their last 5 contests. The one exception there was in that win in Tennessee where they just gave up 20. But other than that, they gave up 20 to them and 20 to the football team. But they've given up 36 to Pittsburgh, 37 to Cleveland, and 31 to the Colts.
Yeah.
I think that Giants offense gets enough chances against this defense to eventually pull away. Maybe close early, but I don't think the Cincinnati offense can keep the Cincinnati defense off the field. I think they just keep them out there and let them eventually get tired out, and the Giants will pull away in the end of this one.
Right, and of course the Giants team is kind of surging right now. As much of an as much as a winning streak as you're going to see in the NFC East, the Giants have won their last 2 in a row. Moving on to my second pick, I like the and this is an interesting one, and I've been waiting on this team to bounce back. I actually like the Patriots money line against Arizona. Tough pick, but I'm here for the machine. The machine has identified this one, and it's all going to come down to whether or not they can actually play like the Patriots that we saw at the beginning of the season, instead of kind of the ones that have been having the big issues that we've seen lately. And I don't hate their odds. It's gonna be an uphill battle, but it is what the spreadsheet spit out. And sometimes, you got to put your trust in the spreadsheet that it will come through. They obviously beat the Ravens. They beat the Jets. They lost to the Texans last week in a heartbreaker. Patriots had the ball there late, just couldn't get it done. Couldn't tie it up 27. They ended up losing 27-20. Lost to the Bills by a field goal before their 2 wins in a row. So while these Patriots have been getting a lot of slack, and they felt like they kind of just been in a losing battle lately, they've lost a lot of close ones outside of the ones they've won in their last 4 games here. They're 2-2, and the 2 they lost were heartbreakers. So I don't hate them against an Arizona team that is really a bag of tricks. Which Kyler Murray are we going to see? Which Arizona Cardinals are we going to see? Are we going to see the ones that went and knocked off Buffalo, or are we going to see the ones lost last week? It's just it's an interesting bag of tricks. But I'm riding with the Patriots here.
All right, very good. Yeah, about the time you think you get a handle on this Arizona team, they jump up and bite you and play exactly how you don't expect them to play. So, it's certainly a possibility of Patriots playing people tough without a lot of weapons, kind of the Patriots way. So,
right.
Taking a look here next at the Panthers and Vikings. 51.5 is the total there. I'm going to play the under in this one, and I know that's certainly taking your life in your own hands when you're going to play the Cardinals, or excuse me, the Vikings, and an under. This defense is not great, but I am not impressed with the Carolina offense without Christian McCaffrey in there.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey's kind of been their catalyst on whether or not their offense is going to be good. They were playoff contenders when McCaffrey was playing, and when he wasn't, they've been bad, downright. This
is a Minnesota team that's going to want to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to want to kill time, make shorten the game as much as possible, and just run the ball with Dalvin Cook and Madison there. So yeah, I'm going to I'll play the under here. And if I was going to rate them, that's probably the one I like the least out of all my picks.
Got it. Got it. Moving on to my third pick. I like this one the third most because it's my third pick. But I've got the Packers minus 8.5 on Sunday night against those Chicago Bears. The Bears are not good. It'll be interesting to see what the return of Mitchell Trubisky will bring for this Bears team. Obviously, they were without they. Nick Foles went down in their last game they played. Gosh, who came in? It was somebody. It was bad. It doesn't really matter because Mitch Trubisky's in now. But I don't think Mitch Trubisky is going to be enough for them to get over this on this Packers team. This Bears team has lost 5 in a row. Correct? They've right.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
they lose one, win one, and then lose 4 in a row. It's something.
The Bears have lost 3 of 5.
Yeah.
They,
It's
they they snuck up and beat New Orleans, and then they beat Carolina back in October.
yeah. It's been a tough go for those Chicago Bears, and I don't think the return of Mitchell Trubisky is going to be going to help them much. So yeah.
No, you're truly shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic there. It's like
Exactly.
it's like when you get two cards and hold them and you keep looking at them, but they never change.
Yeah. An
You, you got
interesting.
you got dealt Trubisky and Foles, and they ain't gonna change. There's
Right.
it's still 7 deuce.
An interesting question there if Matt Nagy will return after this season. But I don't know how much you can blame him for having Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky.
I don't know. There's certainly been some grumblings about the play calling there in Chicago.
Yep.
They might give him one more year, but it's gonna be put up or shut up next year at best case scenario for Matt Nagy. He may have to. They may give him the year to clean house to get rid of all of his staff and bring in new guys and see how that goes. So,
Yeah.
well, would you have the number at 9.5?
I had 8.5. Is it? Do you have 9.5?
That was the last I saw. Let me double check here. I do have 9.5 as of right now. Yes.
9.5. All right. I'll make sure to make that change after the show here. I've got to add actually all my odds. I didn't put my odds on there. So, but yeah. So Packers minus 9.5. I'll accept it. I'm still riding with them.
All right. Now I've got a pick that I really like. This is the Colts against the Titans. Colts are at home throwing 3. I'm in on this Indy team, man. This is a team that's really playing good football right now. They're starting to figure it out a little bit on the offensive side of the ball, but the defense is the calling card of this team, and they have really stepped up their effort lately. They before they gave up 31 to Green Bay, they had just played the Titans the game before that, beat them 34-17. This is a rematch of a game that was played on November the 12th. I don't see what changes there other than the fact that Indianapolis is now at home in the dome, and yeah, I think this is an Indy team that's better than Tennessee, and I think they've shown it lately, and I think they show it again in this one on Sunday.
Yeah, and a lot of their wins they've been covering, and in fact, out of their 7 wins, 6 of them they covered the spread. The only one they failed to cover the spread against was the Cincinnati Bengals, and I remember watching that game personally because I had money on the Colts. So they have been covering monsters when they win, and I agree with your consensus. I think they're going to be able to handle those Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans played those Ravens close, but the Ravens might not be as good as we were thinking at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
So
that's entirely possible. The defense hasn't quite been as good, and Lamar Jackson has definitely not been as good as he was last year in his MVP season.
no, not at all. So yeah, I like it. Again, the Colts of Tennessee have already done this, and I like Colts to do it again at home. Moving on to my fourth pick, I actually have the Raiders minus 3. They're in Atlanta. You already kind of touched on this game. You even mentioned the fact that you don't think this Atlanta team is going to be able to handle the Las Vegas Raiders. And in fact, the Las Vegas Raiders are 7-3 against the spread this year, while the Atlanta Falcons are 4-6. I love what the Raiders are doing right now. Played the Chiefs tough, beat the spread. So and they've actually beat the spread in their last 4 games. So I like them to continue this trend against the Falcons. I'm surprised to see the line only at minus 3. This Falcons team has just not been very good, and but with the change of coach, I guess that keeps the spread down a bit. But I like the Raiders to cover here.
All right, very good. I'm going to take it home with a battle there in the AFC least between the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. For me, this is more a fade of the Jets. I know the Jets have played better lately. They've covered their last few times out against New England and against the Chargers, although.
Real quick, the one I had you send me was Kansas City Tampa Bay under.
Did I mark it wrong?
I can change it for you.
I marked 6. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that one. I'll stay with that one.
Okay.
I'll stay with the Chiefs under. Yeah, simply put, this is a very good Bucks defense. They stone the run. They get after the passer. They're the Chiefs. They're going to be able to get there, but I think they're going to come up with a few dry drives here. Meanwhile, on offense, it's all about whether the Chiefs can get pressure on Brady or not. If they can get some pressure on Brady, make him move laterally, then they'll be fine. They'll take this game and should be no problem. The Bucks will struggle to score. So they're going to have to get pressure on Brady. They're going to have to figure out who's going to cover who. But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, this one ends up having a lot more punts than we anticipate, and I think it's a relatively low scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it stays under the total 56.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one to get to. Obviously, Kansas City hasn't scored under 20 all year. Haven't scored under 20 since, I believe, last year in the Colts game. And this Tampa Bay team does well when Brady doesn't melt down, and good defenses cause Brady to melt down. And he just hasn't. And this Chiefs defense just hasn't been living up to the call. Weren't not nearly as good as they were last season. I believe that'll be a tough one to get, but like you said, this is a good Bucks defense, and if anyone's going to give Patrick Mahomes a hard time, this could be it, and it certainly could be a 27-20. There's a lot of ways to get you there. 34-20 even gets you there. So
Now, the one thing I worry about, because it's Chiefs aren't going to be able to run against this defense, so they are going to have to throw the ball. If the Bucks are able to, if the Chiefs are able to keep the Bucks out of the backfield and give Mahomes time to throw, he could pick apart this defense from a passing standpoint.
right.
This game is really contingent on both defensive front sevens being able to get some pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, Kansas City's still been a bit of an anomaly on my spreadsheet. I actually, if people, fans of the channel or the Twitter or the anything in my life would know that I'm a pretty large Kansas City Chiefs fan. The spreadsheet hasn't given me a single Kansas City Chiefs pick all year, so I haven't had to worry about that dilemma. It's just
Good.
been a weird one. I guess the spreadsheet thinks that Vegas constantly over evaluates the Chiefs, and the Chiefs just haven't been underdogs much. Actually, they did bet one time on a Chiefs game, and it was the Ravens to cover when they played the Chiefs back on that Monday night game, when the Chiefs smoked the Ravens. So
Right.
still, that Chiefs team remains an anomaly for me. But you've got the under there. I don't hate it, but it will be tough. For me to wrap it off here, wrap it up here. I've got the Bills minus 5.5 facing they're going to be facing the LA Chargers in Buffalo. Correct? I'm pretty sure I've got that one
Yes.
lined up that correctly. All right. It's a Buffalo team coming off a bye week. You hope they've got a little something for them. I actually got it at 4.5 here. I don't know if you could confirm. This Bills team has been able to beat the spread the last the last 2 games they've played. They've won straight up 3 out of their last 4. I like them against this Chargers team. The Chargers team is just not playing well right now. Obviously, they struggled even with the Jets last week. That was hard to watch. A team actually not cover against the Jets. The Jets might not win a game, and the if the Chargers could get it done against them, I don't see why the Chargers are going to be able to get it done against Josh Allen and the Bills coming off of a fresh bye week
By the
in
way,
Buffalo.
there's now 4.
What?
That is now 4.
Oh, thanks, Vegas. I love it. Pushing it down for me, even better. I love it that much more. I'd probably bump that up above my Raiders or my Packers picks. Honestly, I love
There you
it.
go. All right.
Good.
There you go, buddy.
All right. So just to confirm, you've got Las Vegas, Atlanta over, Giants minus 6, Carolina, Minnesota under, Colts minus 3, Kansas City, Tampa Bay under. I have the Saints minus 6, Patriots money line, the Pack minus 9.5, Raiders minus 3, Bills minus 5 or minus 4. the
Yep.
adjustment there. So, Scott,
Truman.
I wish you a lot of good luck on those picks. They seem great, as always.
Thanks, bud.
I'm
Appreciate
I'm
it.
I'm certainly in no spot to be critiquing your picks as we've seen by the season records. Where can we find you, Scott?
Well, Truman, you can find me right here in my office pretty much all the time.
Is that door right there?
It's that door right there. No, yeah, I'm over at Winners and Winers over at our YouTube channel. I do my own videos. Of course, I do a video each and every day called Today in Sports Betting, where we take a look. Basically, most days we take a look at every game on the board. Of course, at college basketball, we're going to pick out a few favorites, but we got that going on over there as well. Of course, we're on the Twitters at Winners Winers and on Facebook as well, because we're old. And for all of your handicapping needs, of course, I strongly suggest that you get over there and check out winnersandwiners.com. It is the #1 site in the world for predictive sports analysis, and you will find no other site like it anywhere. They do deep dives into every game every single day. So all these teams, especially with college basketball starting out, all these teams you don't know nothing about, go over there to Winners and Winers and check it out before you make a bet.
That's what I was getting ready to mention. As this college football season is in full swing, the NFL is in full swing, and college basketball is in full swing, and we'll get the NBA back here coming Christmas Day, and I don't know, the NHL's got
22nd, the 22nd of December.
NHL's got to be around there somewhere, also, I'd have to assume.
Yep.
But that's a lot. That's a lot of sports going on. And if you're really looking for action, those guys at Winners and Winers do have you covered with a lot of in-depth analysis about all the teams that you're going to see.
There you go.
So, and of course, I've been Truman Steehn. You can find me here on twitch.tv/SteehmMachine, twitter.com/SteehmMachine. If you're just looking for straight picks, you can go to www.rollingwiththemachine.com for my picks every week for NFL. And, once the NHL gets back in there, and I might start dabbling over in the college sports as well. Who knows? You never know with me. And if you're looking for another Twitter, that's just sports gambling. Just my sports gambling stuff is on CG Sports RWTM. That's the @ I appreciate you being here, Scott. I wish you a lot of good luck.
Thanks, buddy.
And can't wait to hear from you next week.
That'll be fun.
Alrighty. I'll see you then.
Take care, man.
Oh, and this is going on YouTube. Sorry. Before I forget, like, comment, subscribe. My niece was yelling at me for not saying it at the end of my YouTube videos. So there you go. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, everybody.